Hi, my name is Chris Ryan and you join me here at the Belfry in the Talent Performance Centre, and in this video we're going to look at a few things that you can do in your golf swing which are going to help you retain some more lag, which in turn is going to hopefully help you strike the ball better, hit it further and hopefully lower your scores. Just before we get into this video, please make sure you follow me on my social media platforms. The details should be down in the corner of the screen anytime about now. You've got Facebook, you've got Twitter and you have got Instagram. Right, so we are talking about lag and we are talking about maintaining or retaining the lag through your downswing. So let's talk a little bit about what we are discussing in this video. We're really looking at the angle formed between the lead arm and the club shaft. Now, we're not going to go into too much detail as to how much lag we need, etc., but we are trying to address the fault that many golfers have in that what they do as soon as they begin their downswing, they are starting to move this club out and away. This angle gets much greater than it was at the top of the backswing, and those golfers often find that when they get to impact they have got a look of this, where the handle is back, we are presenting far too much loft to the golf ball, we've often struggled to hit the ball with a descending blow, so we get poor strikes, we get high ball flights, and we're not really transferring as much energy as we'd like through to the golf ball. Therefore, those golfers are really trying to retain these angles. They're trying to maintain the angle between the golf club and their arm. What they would often believe is that they are throwing the club away. That may well be the case. That club head is definitely moving out and away from them too soon. So what are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to not move the club away from them. They're trying to bring it in closer. They're trying to get more lag by bringing the club closer. In this video, we're going to discuss why that might not be the best idea for them, and hopefully we're going to give you some little ideas and some little drills that you can do which will help. Right, we're going to go through a little analogy, and we're going to turn the other way, and we're going to talk about something slightly differently, and then we're going to relate that to the golf swing. So, let's say this is a hammer. Okay, so I'm holding the handle, and there's this end's a hammer, and I'm going to start with this here. Now, on the ground is something I want to hit pretty hard. So, the most efficient way for me to put speed into the hammer is, you'll notice I've got an angle between my forearm and the club shaft. Therefore, I have got some angle in these wrists. I could use those wrists and I could put some speed into that hammer. This would be one way of me using the wrists to put some speed into the hammer. That is not the most efficient way. What we would probably find is that if we gave you this task, what you would do is you would pull your hands straight out away from you. I'm pulling my hands right through that golf club. Okay, so if we put an arrow through the handle there, I'm pulling out that way. What I would then do is I would bend that movement and I would pull the handle down and into my body. So if I demonstrate that for you, I'm going to pull out and then down and in. Now that was the most efficient way I could put speed into that hammer. Out and then down and in. And I really feel there's plenty of speed, to the point where I wouldn't need to even hold that golf club with any force, because the movement of the handle is what is creating the speed. So I am moving this handle in such a way that it goes out, down and in, that it would spin that club head out. Therefore, if I started from here and didn't pull the club out first, I just pulled it down and in, the hammer, or in this case the golf club, would spin out much earlier. So, let's look at those golfers who are at the top of their golf swings. They've got a decent amount of angle between this club and the arms, and they are trying to pull those hands into their body because they want more lag. As soon as I pull that handle into my body, that club head is going to get released out and away. And that is really important, because what many golfers are trying to do is they are trying to, from here, pull the handle almost in a straight line from the top to the ball. They're almost trying to think to themselves, well, if I pull down this way, now as I do that now, I can't stop that club releasing early. I haven't really got a lot of speed in that motion, but even just at slow speed, as I pull down, I can't really get that club anything other than releasing out. So the harder I try and pull that grip down to the ball, the more likely is the club head's going to get flung out and I'm going to be in that same position as I was before. So because that golf club often goes too wide, the opposite of wide is narrow, so golfers are trying to get more narrow. But as we've just discussed, that is not often going to be the best way to fix that problem. Therefore, what do we need to do? Well, I want you to think about this part of the golf club, so the butt end or your hands, and I want you to think about wide and low. What do we mean by wide and low? Well, I want you to go to the top, and I want you to feel the hands are wide, so pushing out and low. Now, the important thing is here, we're not talking about the golf club. I don't want the golf club to be wide and low. That's very, very different. We're talking about the hands. Now, if I've got an angle between my arm and the club, and I pushed my hands out away from me, so this way, what would that do to that angle? Well, it would actually probably narrow, which is what we were trying to do in the golf swing. We are trying to get an angle here, and we're trying to get it as narrow as we can. So often I get a lot of success with golfers who release early, but actually get them to feel it from the top. They push their hands this way. Because what would happen is they push their hands this way, the natural rotation of the body would cause them to move slightly down, but it's causing them to have this wider hands. The hands then get lower, and then we can pull the hands more up and into the body, which was the last part of this motion. So the first part of this motion was the out. So we're trying to replicate that with this motion here, the out. The hands go low, and I can now bend those hands up into my body as I pivot out the way, and that is going to be the best way for you to retain the angles and then put the most speed that you can into that golf club. It is often a bit counterintuitive. It is something you wouldn't think about doing. Golfers going from here and pushing out is the last thing they would think would be the right thing to do. But it's amazing how much success we have when that happens, because if I was to take this golf club very lightly and push out, it starts to decrease this angle. If I pull the hands down, it starts to throw the club head out. So when we think about it logically, and we start to see the effects of it, and we start to play around with these ideas, we can maybe get it a little bit more sort of okay in our heads that might be the best option for you, to feel like from the top, you push the hands out, down, and then up. The key thing here is that we are not trying to do it with the golf club. That is very, very important. We don't want these wrists to get involved. It would be no good if I did this as I was throwing the club with the wrists. So we need to make sure that we're trying to keep the wrists passive. The hands are going to get pushed out, down, and then we can pivot through. The hands then move up and around, and that is, as I say, the best way that we can use the body to put the most speed in the club. Hopefully that makes sense. It might be a slightly different way of looking at it. Certainly might be some new ideas you've not heard before, but I can guarantee you if you can start to implement that into your practice, you will start to retain those angles a little bit more, develop a little bit more club head speed, develop a better strike, flight the ball better, and you'll hopefully lower those scores. A little bit off the bottom, not too bad. So chip one more for you. That was a better strike on that second one. So some different ideas there about retaining lag. Maybe what you instinctively do, so pull those arms down, is actually causing that club to release even earlier, and that's causing your hands to be further back at impact. So give this idea a go, take it to the range first. Certainly not going to be one to take straight to the first tee, because it does get some getting used to. It does take some sort of understanding in your head and maybe getting your head around some different ideas, but if you can do that, you should see some better results, and that is really what we want. Right, thank you very much for watching. Comments box, like button, and subscribe link down below. Free videos. Make sure you subscribe, no cost whatsoever, so please make sure you click that button and it'll just get you access to all my videos, as I say, for absolutely free. Right, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.